Okay, all right. How long gone?
Okay, all right. This is an emergency episode, Chris. We have to talk about something that is big in our world.
Yeah.
Do you think AI is going to replace us creatives? I'm just kidding. It's horses. What's going on, baby? We got to talk.
I'm already okay. So let's just rewind. Let's rewind. I was told this story by a few industry insiders on Saturday as I was going to Just Like Heaven Festival. And I did almost have to pull the car over on Highland because it was shocking news, and the excitement and these two gentlemen's giddy voices when they were telling me this was infectious. So
yeah.
I kept it to myself. I told you and Carolyn in our trailer, and I didn't forget about it, but I was kind of like, oh yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm sure the Cut will write some fucking story about it, and that'll be kind of it. But then yesterday, I received text messages like I had become elected president. Like the amount of text messages I received about this, and I'm like, guys, I've eaten at this restaurant, 10, 15 times maybe. Like I don't understand what it is, but is it because of this show and us being at the epicenter of Los Angeles dining? Is that what it is, Jason?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, people come to us to talk about these types of things, I guess, because we will say bad stuff that other people might not want to say, for better or for worse, to our possible detriment.
Yeah, I mean that's possible. So,
but we're straight shooters. We don't have a cat in the fight. We don't have a dog in the fight.
Exactly.
We don't have a horse in the fight.
No, exactly.
I know I have a few friends that have worked there or currently work there right now. So. It is a little touch and go with some of that stuff. I don't want to besmirch anyone's good name, and but I just like you when you told me, pre-Mother's Day, we were so busy just doing a zillion things. I literally didn't have time to process this yummy matcha tea that was served to me until literally Sunday. I was at Mother's Day brunch in Orange County with my mommy. And I was like, oh, by the way, I have the tea. And she's like, what does that mean? And I was like, well, horses. And she's like, no. And then I was like, well, hold on to your fucking hat, bitch. And she's like, what's happening? And I was like, yeah, he can't come unless he kills a cat. And she's like, okay, I don't want my cheesecake anymore.
Stop. I don't want my vegan cheesecake anymore. Okay, we need
cashew probably has more calories than regular. Go ahead.
We need to go back to the beginning. So there's an LA Times article you guys might have seen. Obviously that is just that's some bullshit. That's what they got from court filings. They're not in the slums like Jason and I. They're not getting text messages from insiders, journalists, chefs, etc. But so the story is that the couple, I think they did Mimi in New York first, then the horses in Los Angeles, and then they were about to open something called Froggy's in New York.
Mimi Froggy.
The chef in question also, I believe, was the head chef at the Catbird Seat in Nashville, which was a real moment in time, if you remember that place. Yeah. Delicious.
That was Bonap bait back in the day. And Mimi's was good, but they did have a bit of a mice problem, right?
I've heard that. Yeah, I never ate there because it was too quaint for me. But so the what we're told, they were going through a bitter divorce. The chef was known as a sex tourist, which is still tourism. I want to be clear, we love to support local kind of local economies, but
wanderlust is wanderlust, babe.
Exactly. I can't fault him for that. I love discovering the beautiful nation of Thailand, and I'm sure the flavors are inspirational as a chef.
However, you got to get your Delta miles up. I mean, I'm sure he's
exactly.
He's Thai platinum.
I've also been told he was doing some kind of really nefarious things in the city of Nashville, but I don't have that on great authority. But the real kicker of this story, and the reason that we're all here today, is because what we have been told is that he was caught masturbating while strangling a cat, and it's obviously, I've heard it so many times now that I'm desensitized to it. Obviously it's twisted, and there's no doubt about that, but
yeah,
there's more to it, Jason.
Well, that's what they say, Chris. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the side, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat.
The other thing that I'm hearing is that in New York, yes, there was a history of obviously New York, it's a basement culture. Lots of prep kitchens are located in basements. It's part of the restaurant business here.
I grew up in the basement of New York.
And there's apparently there was a mice problem at the restaurant Mimi. Several cats were purchased to take care of that mice problem. A common fix for a common problem.
Yeah, you've seen the Bodega Cats Instagram. It's very normal.
But I'm hearing that those cats, several of those cats, did end up dead.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That could have been from poison. That could have been all kinds of stuff. But that's the tea. Horses has commented on Instagram.
Could have eaten a bad oyster. It's anything possible.
I mean, you know how cats are. They'll eat anything. Eat trash, literally. So he's been estranged from the restaurant since 2022. Horses posted on Instagram today. If this were dogs, this man would be dead in the street. Petey would be in front of the restaurant. Nobody actually likes cats that much. That's my main takeaway, is that we like dogs too much. I could still find a way. But Jason, we've had a lot of time to digest this. We've talked about it a lot. We've talked about it with several different...
Don't say digest this. Go ahead.
We've talked to several different players in the business. The question is, can Los Angeles hotspot, Sunset Boulevard zone horses survive this scandal and the resi can continue to boom, or do you think horses folds and H Wood Group bullies our friends and family out of that beautiful space?
I think all of that hinges on whether or not Liz, the female wife of his who is accusing him of these feline felonies, if everything that she has said is true and she is not guilty of anything herself, then I think he can be removed from the business. She can carry on.
Yeah.
It'll be an inspirational story. We're supporting survivors of abuse. It's going to be, the restaurant will do even better. All the people that work there can keep their jobs. Yay. Unless maybe we haven't read all the chapters of this book quite yet. And it's very common. Yeah. And also, just to say, we are fully speculating all of this. None of this is real info, and this is all just whatever, so nobody can sue us, etc. But
this is all hearsay.
This is all hearsay. But would not be the first time where a partnership in business and love ended up not working out exactly how you want it to work out, and accusations are thrown at, and both people could be. It's so innocent.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. Kind of how I feel when I'm eating that off-menu spicy pasta over there, horses. But I don't think we've heard all of it yet, but I guess this story has really gripped the nation. And by the nation, I mean 25 to 40-year-old upper middle class people that live in New York and LA and work on the computer.
Mostly New York, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand. Obviously I understand it's insane and it's really crazy and kind of twisted, but what I'm thinking is I'm waiting for the full circle moment where we're upset about the kink shaming that's going on. And that, I think that I don't think in 2023 that's really okay, Jason. I think that we live in a sex positive society, and for people to be shamed like this
at least I thought we did.
Exactly. So I think that's something we need to address, and I don't see the media talking about that. But the thing that I think is the most interesting about this story is the fact that everyone was kind of alluding to it on Twitter and no one would say anything. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really understand why. And I think everyone was waiting for the real story to come out, and that still hasn't happened. And by real story, I mean the LA Times thing is a fake. They had to do something, so they went and got court papers and did a newspaper story that's boring.
That's what you have to do when you're a paper of record. You can't just throw out a bunch of hearsay.
I understand that, but what I'm saying to you is they
did as much as they could for now instead of waiting 2 weeks to get the full story.
But what I'm saying to you is something that's a little less, something that can play a little more, not hearsay, but that can really report it because they actually know people that are involved in this world. I'm surprised that something hasn't happened yet. I'm sure they're working tirelessly around the clock over there at New York Magazine to kind of churn this out, because LA doesn't have, LA Magazine isn't really going to do this. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know who in LA is going to take this to task.
Yeah.
But I do think there will be more to it, and I think that it's it's got all the elements, I guess. It's got sex stuff, it's a hot spot, the only thing it needs is a celebrity element. But I guess that's just maybe the setting of Los Angeles is enough.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a celebrity investor or something at least.
Ken Friedman is a celebrity in my world. That's a good point. You know, I loved all of his restaurants.
And also Squirrel, what a yummy restaurant, right, Chris?
Well, but this is my point. I think that obviously this is worse than some moldy jam. I love Squirrel. I go all the time.
Me too.
That was a fake news. But the I think the reality is most people don't actually care if he's not involved, which I'm sure he's not, and he probably hasn't been for a year. I totally believe that. Then I think that horses will survive. I think they'll gallop away into the sunset and they will continue to put that beautiful butter on the table. And have a mean maitre d'. I think that's possible. I think that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, if they can find a new oyster supplier, I think they can turn this thing around.
Like, I just don't think it's actually as catastrophic as it sounds now. But I bet if you went to Horses tonight, it's still doing business.
Really, Chris?
That's all I'm saying.
Catastrophic of all the adjectives.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oopsie.
No, I agree with you. At first, I was looking at it with whatever the opposite of rose-colored glasses are. I was just like, oh, this thing's done.
Yeah.
Liquidation sale.
You had your murdered out tents. Yeah,
I was like, oh, there's no way you're going to recover from this. This is just like you crossed the line, and now we're into like bestiality snuff films, and like how do you come back from that kind of thing?
Well, we are technically, but yeah, still.
But I think there is a chance. I mean, the only thing is just like I hope that the truth does come out and nobody is getting fucked out of something.
I don't care about that at all. I just care about the kind of line cooks, the front of house staff, our friends and family that we mentioned on the show many times. They're going to be out of work unless they can recover from this, Jason. That's what I'm concerned about.
Honestly, yeah, me too.
I'm not concerned about these big wig investors getting their money back. They all know you're never going to get your money back on a restaurant. It's going to take at least 5 years. So let's be real. But yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot. We've gotten a lot of text messages. I was getting phone calls. I got a phone call from someone yesterday on tour who's never called me before. In the history of our relationship, I've never received a phone call.
First call
because they
pop the cherry.
They're like, we got to call Chris. Chris is the guy to call in this, which is I like that feeling of obviously being needed and being considered to be an authority. But also I didn't realize we were so connected to this place but I guess we did talk about it a lot when we were kind of going through our trials and tribulations.
Yeah, I mean, we have talked about it a lot, and I don't know how. I mean, I guess this like if something happened to Sweet Green or something like that, it would be the same kind of thing, because I guess Horses has sort of been an unofficial character on the show, even though we don't know any of the owners or haven't really done anything there other than like make a reservation online and go eat there. We don't like particularly juiced in or anything like that. It's just a popular restaurant that's good.
But there was one point, I guess, in the Horses saga where like the fact that we could text someone and go there was truly a valuable asset. Like, people were foaming at the mouth
that's true.
To eat at this restaurant in a way
that was your NFT.
Yeah, that was something I've never been a part of that before. Like, I'd never been. I mean, like, the way people would, like, the thirst to go there was like, I'll eat there at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I don't give a fuck. I have to go.
Yeah,
which is obviously pathetic for many reasons. But here we are. But I don't. Yeah, I mean, look. I don't think this is going to be as catastrophic as we thought, but I do think this might be the best gossip that has like kind of crossed over into multiple areas of my life, maybe ever.
Yeah.
And it distracted. What's really shocking is it was able to distract people from the Vanderpump Rules finale, which has been a hotly anticipated reality television moment. So, I mean, the power of Cats.
That was merely a blip on the radar.
Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't know. I don't know. I did not know it was that serious.
I mean, the same thing happened to me because I was in the middle of posting a photo of me at Magic City on Instagram, and then this comes out, and it's just like, what do we do?
All right, so we were trying to get Jason's photo at Magic City to 5,000 likes, and then the cat strangler got in the fucking way and kind of fucked up our plan a little bit. But I don't. But I'll say this: if you're traveling from Europe or abroad, or maybe even beautiful New York City, and you had a reservation at Horses, hold the line. Hold the line, because somebody needs to report the fact that no one has been like, I went to Horses last night, is crazy to me. Like, that's if I was in LA, we would have gone last night, 100%.
Yeah, something I was thinking about going yesterday, but then I was wondering if everyone's gonna look at me like, is this guy here to eat food, or is this like some type of like satirical performance art that he's doing, or is he
you're too
on
noticeable.
IG Live?
You're too noticeable. We'd have to send in one of our ops.
Yeah, I am. I guess. I'm too close to this whole thing.
If you're listening to How Long Gone on this beautiful Friday, and you live in LA, go into Horses this weekend and report from the ground, because no one's done that yet, and I don't understand why that hasn't happened. That seems like the first thing someone would do.
Maybe I'll go this weekend. Fuck it. Who knows?
I mean, pull up a seat at the bar.
One last ride.
One last gallop. Yeah, I'm not. It has been, but it's been a lot. Like, my wrists hurt yesterday from texting so much.
Yeah, when we were talking to some friends, they're like, this is a switch to laptop.
Texting
kind of.
One of them was like, bro,
I need the full.
Yeah,
I need the full QWERTY.
I had to pull over my car because I was getting so many text messages. is the best I've heard.
But it also it's created some ripples and some aftershocks. I saw a tweet from a food writer that I don't want to mention, but they wrote, restaurants shouldn't be cool. Coolness in a restaurant is a red flag, and that this situation has created a reaction like that, and I think that might be the biggest casualty outside of the 9 Live situation. The biggest casualty of this whole situation is that people, I don't know, they're trying to get their revenge for to quote Chris Brown, I see you hating from outside the club, you can't get in, kind of thing. It's like
revenge of the nerds,
grasping for anything.
Yeah, I mean, this person is a known dork, and I think that kind of tweet is like, I work somewhere prestigious and I should be able to go to any restaurant I want, and maybe that wasn't the case in this instance, but it is like, first of all, restaurants only should be cool. As soon as you start worrying about the food, it's not fun or cool. So you kind of have to prioritize coolness.
Yeah.
I've always said that, but I don't think that's the issue here. It's not like owning a cool restaurant makes you choke cats. That's two separate issues. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that has nothing to do with anything. And I think that if restaurants aren't cool, then what are they? Is the real question, because that's something that I know we both strive to see or attend, at least.
And also certain people look at restaurants as like, this is a place that I go to eat a bunch of food and get full from the food. That's yummy. And then other people are like, wait, you go to Balthazar for the food? Like, you go to blah, blah, blah for the food? Like, Horses was one restaurant where the food actually was enjoyable, but or still is, but there's a whole other world of restaurants out there where you don't necessarily go there because the food, and those are kind of, those are problems that you have to work out on your own. That's not the restaurant's fault.
Yeah, but these are the same kind of people that are like, I loved COVID because I got to spend so much time alone. I felt so much pressure to go out, and I'm an introvert. It's the same kind of person. It's just like, it's dorks. Like, if you don't like going to cool restaurants, like what is the? I mean, like, most cool restaurants are also pretty edible. It's not like sure, maybe you're not quote unquote going to Balthazar for the food, but you're also not mad when you leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like you're eating at a fucking gas station. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's
but going
fine.
to a restaurant and hearing and seeing good-looking people and feeling the buzz of the room and feel the whole thing and the way it's lit, that's the whole point. So if you take that out of it, then I'll have to start cooking. Please don't make me do that.
A server or a bartender or a GM who knows who you are and remembers your order and treats you like a special person, makes you feel good in exchange for your hard-earned money, that's literally the best experience of dining, period. If you care about only the food and not anything else, then it's called HelloFresh. Go check it out. Whip up a great healthy meal at home, and you don't have to see anyone.
If you don't like restaurants because they're too overwhelming for you, because they're cool and they intimidate you, how long gone 16 at checkout? HelloFresh will get you sorted. You can make that beautiful, delicious burger that Jason was talking about all at home. You don't have to meet a server. You don't have to talk to anyone. You don't have to feel less than. It's amazing.
With HelloFresh, your ugly ass always can get a table.
That take is truly diabolical, and I think that it's I think that's what I mean I don't know, I didn't know how to respond to that, because you're right, that's like such a symptom of bigger problems, but this is where we are. This is where we are. People are now saying things being cool are bad and could lead to sexual deviance.
But I think we're gonna wait and see what happens. Like I said, I think there's a friend of ours who was telling us some info, was saying think of this as like Succession, and we just watched the first episode, and you got to remember that the whole thing is just about to unfold.
We have it on good authority that this is merely the amuse-bouche, and there will be several courses.
But also, when the pilot episode is this good, you know that the finale is going to be great.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. We're waiting with bated breath. If you need my HBO login, let me know. And we do have some good news. Good news coming from Down Under. Our recently announced show in Melbourne, Australia, home of breakfast, is selling quite well. And the tickets are moving very quickly. We talked to our agent this morning, Sam Gans over there at High Road Touring, let us know. So we urge you, all of you Australians, to go get your tickets, because they're gone. They're going to be gone soon, and we don't want you to be left out in the bush.
Yeah, I mean, and it's great news. We were definitely curious to see how things were going to move over there, and so far so great. So thank you very much. And like Chris said, try to snatch up some tickets sooner than later, even though the show's basically Halloween. And that's very far in advance, but you might have to go very far in advance. And then
I would like to say also, quickly, I would like to say that if you do, it is a few days before Halloween. If you do come in costume, you will be refused entry. So let's just I don't know how you guys do Halloween.
Oh, no.
I don't know how you guys do Halloween down there, but just to be clear, that's kind of where we're at with it. So just want to put that out on notice. And there's no refunds, of course. No refunds.
I think, no refunds. I think Halloween in Australia, you go kind of door to door with your bag open, and then every house puts a small can of beer inside of it for your children.
A small kind of beach-sized beer, so it stays cold while the sun's beating down.
Just a little beach, and then it's up to the parents. Ration that out, just one a night after dinner. We can't gorge.
Yeah, you can't eat all four of the Twix. You can only have one.
That's crazy.
We're going to put on a second. Also, London, the first show is sold out. We're going to be doing the next night, and we'll have more info on that soon. But London, we're doing a second show. The first show sold out at the 100 Club August 4th. We'll be doing August 5th at the 100 Club. Those tickets will be on sale very soon as well. Can't wait to come back to our favorite city.
I might be doing at some time around there in London too. Might be doing a little DJ set, and then I think in Australia after our show, another Them Jeans.
And
DJ,
also,
the after party will be just as good.
And Australians, stop asking us about Sydney. Obviously, we'd like to come to Sydney. We did an exclusive with our friends for Melbourne. So that's it. Don't ask me anymore. We would like to do that. We might come there to get some Arvo, but that's it.
In the future, we will go to Sydney and do a show, though, but just not at this moment. I don't know what the proximity radius clause is timing-wise, but it ain't this trip, sweetie.
It ain't this trip, sweetie. We do have a guest today.
And we're back. We recorded 22 minutes with our guest, and she had a bad Wi-Fi connection on vacay, so we're going to have her back on at a later date, unfortunately. But that just means you just get a solo episode now, guys.
It's okay. I mean,
I need to overcome this and get back into the zone.
Well, don't worry. I have something important to talk about. And it's I think you'll be happy about this, but people there's a car chase in Manhattan involving the paparazzi, and you may know him as Harry, not Styles, the other British Harry, and then his beautiful gold digging wife Meghan Markle.
Yeah,
and people are really up in arms about this, and it's. I was talking to someone last night, and they pointed out that the speed limit in Manhattan and the traffic is there's no way there could be a chase here. It was more of a crawl, And I was like, damn, that's actually a great point. Like, obviously, no one obeys the speed limit. It's 25 miles an hour in Manhattan, but you can't really, you can't really go much faster than that.
It's pretty impossible to haul ass in Manhattan.
Yeah, so I think that these two,
unless you're on the West Side Highway.
Oh, there we go. Spoken like a local. But these two are really,
or unless you're in the Nike running club.
Okay, wow. Okay, really, really pandering to me. But I think that I think that people are. At first a few people were sympathetic, and then I think it's turning on them. And because I get all my news from the Daily Mail, and they absolutely hate Harry and Meghan, it's been really fun to watch.
Are they insulting? Are they being derogatory towards him? Even though, obviously, paparazzi car chases must be a huge trigger for the H-man.
I mean, the H-man.
On account of his mom dying that way?
I think that's why it makes headlines, is because his mom died that way. I mean, I'm usually not the conspiracy theorist on this show, but some think that might have been orchestrated by the royal family, because she was stepping out, and had started her relationship with Dodi Al-Fayed or whatever his name is. But
Chris's third eye is open.
Look, I'm just saying.
That's when you know it's crazy.
I'm just saying. But I think that the idea of a high-speed chase to take pictures of those two is not realistic, not only because of the speed limit and the congestion, but also because they're so boring. And I feel like they get their picture taken all the time. I just don't think that, I don't find it plausible. I just don't believe it.
Well, they're so boring, but they're so famous. They're just like super duper famous. You're a member of the royalty is always going to cause a crazy commotion like that.
Of course, but I guess what I'm saying is that I think that they're pretty readily available and get photographed often enough where it's not like when Jack Nicholson hasn't been seen in 3 years, and then they roll his fat ass out to the Laker game because people thought he was dead. You know what I mean? It's like they were literally like, we have to get a picture of this guy to prove to people that he's not dead, because the obituary writers, the New York Times, were firing up their quills. So
you could only claim hibernation for so long. Most celebrities, it's exhaustion. For him, it was hibernation. But I mean, we need a proof of life, or else we're gonna run with the obit.
We've seen multiple Jewish delis making large deliveries to this address over the last 3 years. We know someone is in. We know somebody is in there. We know somebody's in there. We need proof that
we see a pear-shaped shadow in the windows.
Look, I know I've seen a shadow come out and smoke cigarettes at all hours of the day, but I can't get a lens on it. I just can't get a good view.
I maybe. So then, do you think that this car chase was also orchestrated by Markle to get a little, just keep the fire burning, because it looked like the kind of the celebrity flame was going out?
This is the TJ I know and love. Exactly. I think Markle called her friends over there at her paparazzi. She texts the paparazzi. They come, they chase. The whole thing is orchestrated, and I know that Hollywood is built on that, and I like that normally.
Yeah.
But Meghan Markle has given so little to us in this country. I never watched Suits, so I don't know if you're a fan, but her output is a USA program called Suits, and then marrying Prince Harry. Mm-hmm. And marrying Prince Harry doesn't do anything for me as an American. He's not part of my royal family. The royal family here, obviously, Bill and Hillary.
Pussy must be gripping.
It must be, but also he's fully ruined his life for this chick. and she was a middling actress. So I don't know. I just feel like I feel like the hatred.
But his life was already kind of over, right? But you're saying he could have had his pick of the litter.
No,
perhaps.
I don't even mean for his. I don't even mean for this little ginger freak. I don't even mean sexually. I mean, like he's no longer. He's not part of his family anymore. Like he's out of the. He's no longer a royal. Mm-hmm. Like he like, can you imagine that? Can you being like,
he's been exonerated.
This chick, that was on a USA show is so bad that I'm willing to disown my entire royal family, all the money, all the prestige, the security guards, the houses in the country, the beautiful dogs, the corgis, you know what I mean, the whole thing. I'm willing to rid myself of all of this for a little mid pussy, and that's why men are weak, Jason. That's why men are weak. That's why women should run the world, is because you watch a guy like this flush his life down the toilet for a nobody, and we got to do better.
He just fell in love with Santa Barbara. You know what I mean?
Santa Barbara is beautiful, and I love. Look, if Tyler Perry wanted me to hang out with him, I probably would do it too. But we got to think about the future. That's all I'm saying.
What do you think his future is, other than, you know, writing out his Netflix contract and then doing nothing?
I think it's podcasting probably. But
how long until he has a cooking show? You know,
I mean, God bless. I'm crossing my fingers. I would say 2 to 5, depending on. I mean, British food isn't great. But I think that he could still kind of put a twist on it, you know.
He's kind of like the white John Legend in so many ways.
Damn, he kind of is.
He may have been hoodwinked into something.
He can't even tickle the keys, though.
Yeah, I mean, he has to have some type of talent. Obviously, not anything compared to the likes of John Legend, you know, singing and pianoing and all that stuff. But
pianoing,
I don't know. Maybe he's got a yo-yo trick or something, or I don't know.
I think that's the thing, is that you don't have to develop any skills. Like, I really don't think you have to develop any skills, but I think that you should,
as a man or as a royal.
Both, but definitely as a royal. Mm-hmm. But this actually reminds me of something I at Equinox Day, when I was thinking to myself when I was jogging on the treadmill. And thank you to Nike for sending over some new shoes. I was really getting my time in.
Yeah, we love you guys.
I feel like you might not see this as much in LA because no one goes to college. But here, there's always a handful of guys that are wearing like esteemed university sports team shirts, like SDSU field hockey or whatever, you know what I mean, like Bowden track and field, you know what I mean, like NYU volleyball. Okay, so they're wearing these shirts, which signifies that they were at some point a pretty serious athlete, maybe on scholarship to a college to play sports, you know. So it's like
or just a fan.
No. These guys were not fans, because it's not sports you're a fan of. It's rarely football or basketball. It's always like lacrosse, or like, something a little more
track.
Yeah, exactly. Something a little more esoteric that you can't go pro in. And those are always the guys, Jason, at the gym that need to lose 15.
Oh, really?
And it makes me feel superior as a high school dropout, that it's like at one point you were peaking at 22 years old, you had a six-pack, you were the lacrosse captain at a East Coast, preppy institution, and now you work a job you hate, you need to lose 15, and you have an ugly water bottle. And that makes me feel really good about myself. And I just thought about that today because I've noticed it so much as I've been back at the Knox.
He also has 2 kids that he hates.
Oh, 100% 2 kids that he hates. 100%. But I find that to be, it's a certain kind of sport though. It's always.
It sounds like the common factor here is it has to be a sport that you can't really go pro and make a bunch of money in.
Exactly. It's never a sport. It could be from track and field to weightlifting to lacrosse, wrestling. Like, these are respected sports. I respect all athletes, of course, as a member of the community. But I'm saying that
they're not a road to financial wealth.
No, they're not. Yeah, the water polo team means that you were broad and hot 10 years ago, and that's about all it means.
Well, I think if that is the kind of the common denominator going on, I think that means that you could, because if your sport is one that you can make a bunch of money in, football, baseball, basketball, whatever, it's so rare to become professional because the bar is set so high, the competition is so crazy. So
yeah,
it's not that weird to like get an injury and like not become an NBA player. You know what I mean? Or just like, hey, I just am not as good as LeBron James. You know what? And everyone's like, yeah, of course.
You know what, bro? It ain't gonna happen for you.
But you can. There's a lot of excuses and reasons that are reasonable to not go all the way in those things, and then you kind of give up, and then you realize, I have to start the second half of my life because I'm not going to be, on the Seattle Seahawks or whatever. But with those other sports, you could be the best lacrosse player at fucking Duke or whatever it is, Old Miss, Old Navy, any of these great colleges. and you graduate and you're like, I'm the fucking best. I did it.
I did it.
You name it, I've done it. I'm goated with the sauce. And then you get out there in the world and they're like, cool.
Yeah.
You can't make any money doing that, by the way. So now you have to start your career at this point. You have to learn about hard work too late in life. And that's why you got 15 to lose.
Yeah, the sports medicine degree isn't really paying off like you thought it would. But I mean, it's just it's true though. It might stunt your growth. But I did want to also discuss some breaking news. And this is kind of some media stuff. So I don't mean to, I like to talk about this stuff, and this has nothing to do with Bon Appetit. I've heard word from inside the building. Bon Appetit is still going on. The rumors of its untimely death were false, but there's a new competition in the men's magazine space, and I think GQ, Esquire, Monocle, Fantastic Man, they're shaking.
Okay.
Because Jason, I'm talking minutes ago. Former President of the United States, Donald Trump Jr. The son of the former President of the United States, Donald Trump Jr., has announced that he's publishing a non-woke men's lifestyle magazine that you can subscribe to now. It's called Field Ethos.
Field Ethos?
Field Ethos. FE Journal Quarterly.
Sounds like a jerky company.
And it's described on the brand's website as the premier lifestyle publication for the unapologetic man. Enjoy a mix of modern adventure, historical context, and perspectives forged through global travel while staying current with the latest products that elevate an unapologetic life. So pour a drink, sit back, and let Field Ethos Journal create your own stories. And there is an option to subscribe, Jason. So I'm obviously going to subscribe you to this magazine.
That's fine.
And there's also a handful of merchandise items under the gear tab. A wallet, a kind of card holder, a Jesus Christ. They have a WWRKD bracelet, like a Livestrong bracelet, which is roof Koreans are often the last line of defense during times of heightened civil unrest when local police, fire, EMS, and the National Guard have failed. They are experts at the defense party.
What?
So, listen, the roof Korean, the arsenal includes coolers of beer.
So is this Ruth Chris Korean barbecue? Is that what I'm hearing?
Roof Koreans. This is some fucking dog whistle shit, because I listen to what
roof
ROOF, like the roof of your home.
Sorry. This must be in relation to like the LA riots when Korean shop owners would go on the roof and shoot people that tried to steal their stuff.
Yeah, so because the arsenal of the Roof Korean includes coolers of beer, lawn chairs, an assortment of firearms and ammunition, premium cigarettes, mixed CDs, headbands, and probably calculators.
What?
I feel like this is racist, but also like they're giving props. I don't understand. Because coolers of beer, lawn chairs, assortment of firearms, premium cigarettes, mixed CDs, and headbands.
This is so weird.
Are cool. And then calculators feels like a racist joke on the Korean people.
Premium cigarettes too. That's weird. None of this. It sounds like when like racist Republican people. They're like, hey, this is my one black friend. This is my gay friend. They're very into having like the one person that shows that like, hey, I'm not like a full Nazi. I'm only like 35% a Nazi kind of thing. I think this is a little bit of like, we're going to show some love to the Koreans, maybe because like we are basically North Koreans or will be in a few years kind of thing. But I think the problem is they're like, hey, these guys are awesome because they devoted 3 days of their life during the LA riots to protect their home and business by any means necessary, and they love the idea of that. But the problem is these people are not under any threat of anything, but they want to live their entire life this way. They want to spend the rest of their days
like they're under threat.
Which is why they all have the Citizen app, and they have 11,000 security cameras, and their entire life is controlled by maybe one day you get to shoot a person of color and not get in trouble for it.
Yeah, that's the key. They also have multiple collections in the shop, Jason, and the descriptions. They have a domicile section, which
what
I would say that a lot of people that are reading Field Ethos magazine don't know what domicile means.
Yeah,
and listen to the description of the home. So it says you click on domicile, it takes you. Then they call it home goods, obviously, and then the description is goods for the home for those who will never step foot into a home goods store. We've got what you need right here. And it's 4 different kinds of mugs and a mimosa set.
Okay, because I need to find a place to buy a straight guy's mimosa set.
Dude, this is so sick. All right, they have a mug that costs. It's called the Everything mug. It costs $165, and it's described as everything about this mug is excessive: the quality, the weight, the size, and the price. But these are things you should know. A fuck ton of copper went into making this thing. Perfect for hot coffee. Perfect for cold cocktails. It can be used in a defensive or offensive encounter. A human skull will break. This mug will not. Your grandchildren will be drinking from it. Hand wash only, like all the fine things in life.
Okay, so this is just this reminds me friend of the show, Carly Sorrentino, she's got the podcast about Sanctum.
Yeah.
Sanctum Unmasked, which is like an underground sex club that happened in LA and still is going on. But there's a part where the origin of it is just like, hey, eventually if you do anything cool, rich guys are going to come and you don't want them to be there. So you have to create these high dollar, like fuck you items. Where it's like, hey, if you want to come in, it's going to cost, you have to buy this pinky ring that costs $100,000.
Yeah.
And if they say no, then you're like, okay, thank God that rich dick asshole is not here. And if they say yes, you just sold them a fucking $50 ring for $100,000. So
this
like,
feels
it's
like
worth
that.
it.
This feels
and
like that.
This is the same exact thing, because there's going to be some person out there who's like, oh, like I'm making enough money, I can afford this item, or like their buddies will all chip in $20 and get him this for his birthday, and he's gonna be like, oh my God, this is so sick. I have a coffee that you can drink hot coffee, a mug that you can drink hot coffee out of. This is so dope. And then if a person of color ever enters my house and I don't have my gun on me, I can kill him with this and then claim self-defense.
I just think that all of these kind of right-wing businesses that are popping up that are like, it's like they've discovered what merch is. That's what it feels like. This feels like this magazine, which has to be unreadable gobbledygook, is merely a vehicle to sell T-shirts, kind of just like this podcast. And I'm getting scared that the right wingers have kind of figured out the playbook, that like merch is.
Well, yeah, they have,
and it's scary.
And right wing people they've been doing this for the dawn, since the dawn of time. They've been fleecing America's senior citizens out of their mortgages and things like that,
their pension, for
a long time. And now they're like, okay, getting them out of their pension and everything. And for a long time that was fine, but now all those people have grown up, and now we realize it's just merch. Like Donald Trump doesn't care if he becomes president; he's just trying to make $35 million selling red hats that were made in China. And this is all just the same thing. You can make a lot of money selling merch, man.
You make a lot. I mean, I think the Trump red hat probably really got them all cooking. Because it was like,
yeah.
No, I'm saying, like, if I'm buying this and all my friends are buying it, one of the smart ones at Buffalo Wild Wings after his 5th high life is like, God damn it, I could do this.
Yeah. No, I mean, but because of that, I think we need a new special different word for this type of merch, because like, if it is like, the only reason why people are buying it is so people will signal that your political,
your affiliation,
you lean politically in one direction. Whereas before it's like, hey, I'm buying this skate company merch because I like their writers, or I think that they have cool artwork. And this is something a little bit more powerful, and people will buy it regardless of what it looks like or how cool it is or how well it's made, just so they can walk around. I mean, it reminds me of like being in 7th grade and you show up with like an Alice in Chains t-shirt at middle school and you're like, okay, let's see what happens with my new life as I join the grunge community. You know, it's sort of like, but these are all people who are like 52 years old and they have that same thing of like, all right, I'm going to buy the shirt that is, you know, this is the first day of the rest of my life because I'm going to go from being just a regular pussy to a pussy who has a t-shirt with like 2 old guns crisscrossed in front of an American flag that only has some stars on it, not all 50 of them.
Well,
and it's like, oh, you're gonna make a lot of enemies and you're gonna make a lot of brothers overnight by buying this.
Said,
so it's like it's a powerful activated merch.
Well said. Brothers is right because I mean, you know, that's how they think of each other. But yeah, I just this kind of stuff and I feel like there's a new one every week or something where it's like somebody is able to hit a lick. Like I bet that Don Jr. tweet about this magazine, I'm sure they've been selling merch all day at a crazy clip. You know, because they want to support.
They have no plans to ever make the magazine. This is all a merch play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about to order a copy of the magazine. Just obviously, I'm a print guy, you know. So, but the other thing that this is so focused on,
keep print alive
over at Field Ethos is that this is about big game hunting as well, as we know that, you know, like killing zebras and stuff. Which I don't know. I just don't like. That's such a funny thing to rally around. I don't know. Like, but I guess we've been talking about a guy killing cats for the last 30 minutes. So I guess that we love to debate these kind of important topics of animals getting killed. It's very divisive.
I mean, so the ethos that they're trying to
Field
persuade or they're trying to express this ethos of what of like living on the field. Is it like we're going back to Red Dead Redemption kind of times?
I think it's a little. Well, I think it's. But
I mean, field usually means like hunting.
Yes, agreed.
Agreed. Field and Stream magazine. The stream is fishing, and the stream is fishing, and the field has to be hunting. That's just how it goes. So you have the ethos of hunting mixed with roof. What was it called? Roof sitters?
Roof Koreans. No, the word is
roof Koreans.
Yeah, roof sitters.
Okay, roof Koreans. Roof. I mean, it just sounds so Roof Chris to me. I'm just keep saying Roof Chris in the fabulous voice, but. So a roof Korean is a person who's hunting black people.
Well, that's not necessarily what they're saying. That's the whole thing is that like it's all so like thinly veiled. It's just like the language these kind of things choose. It's like I'm looking at a picture right now of like a leather catch-all that you would put on your like table inside your door to put your keys and stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, it's got a watch, like a I don't know, some sort of cheapest watch. 2 knives, a gun, and a clip, and then below it says we focus on things that truly matter to us, the places we go, the people we meet, the cultures we experience, the adventures that lie in wait for anyone willing to take a step into the unknown, and the global successes of conservation that preserve all of these things for generations to come. What does that mean? Like, what on earth does that mean?
That means
it just sounds.
That means this magazine is called Race War Quarterly. That's all that means.
No, totally. This magazine means like we like white boy stuff. And we're going to try to promote that white boy stuff to you. That's what it means.
We have to protect our values.
It's just such a strange. It's such
by any means necessary.
It's just such a strange. All of the wording is just so careful that I'm like you give yourself away when the wording is that careful. You're not fooling anyone.
This is just like Maxim magazine for people who would get picked on by people who read Maxim magazine and now they have guns and are ready to shoot you if you pick on them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like you made fun of me. I'm a loser. My life sucks. I might as well like see what it's like to shoot somebody who makes fun of me.
I'm gonna see what it's like. What is it? What do you think it's like? What do you think it's like to shoot someone?
My Discord's gonna go. Discord. I'm gonna be goated on my Secret Service Discord.
It's so cool that these guys can hunt big game and like hit somebody, hit a home invader over the head with $165 mug, and also be on Discord. Like it's such a crazy combo now that these guys have to. Like it's such a fine line they have to walk because it's like you just have to find your people wherever they are, I guess. And if Discord is where you can, if Discord is where they are, you got to go find them. It's a very wild twist.
This is the only thing that I like about like conservative Republicans is the fact that they're like, let's just do it all in plain sight. Let's not hide anything. Let's have the dog whistle be loud as fuck just out of sheer boredom and amusement, because we can get them to do whatever. And they just do it all. And everyone's like, this sounds great. Like, hey, do we have this magazine about preserving the environment and wildlife for generations to come? And every single photo, if you Google any of their names, it's just them, next to endangered species whose life was just taken by their fucking 50 cal or something like that. Like, and they're like, we're all about preserving our special land for the future generations, our grandchildren. But I do need to kill this zebra really quick and put it on my wall. The bios of the founders and like the staff is so sick. It's so sick. I mean, it's just like on the masthead.
The masthead. Let's use the proper term. I apologize. We are relics, old school adventurers who make no apologies for who we are. We're men of global experience with the confidence to explore the uncharted places. At first light, we're masters of logistics. By sundown, we're whiskey-fueled philosophers by campfire. Dude, that is so good. Hold on, Jason. Hold on. We contain multitude. Hold on, Jason, because this sounds like us a little bit. We're gearheads too. We like the best of everything. If we can't wear it out or break it in, then nobody can. We're handy with guns, knives, tents, backpacks, boots, and everything in between. We're constantly looking for the next piece of kit to enhance everyday life or make the next adventure a better experience. Have you ever heard next piece of kit before?
Unless you're like a makeup artist, no.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, I too am a master of backpacks.
This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
It's too good.
This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
I mean, but like truly, like just like how like so many other things where like, hey man, Idiocracy was a documentary. It's actually crazier now than they said it was going to be. Like,
yeah,
we didn't know what we had when we had Maxim magazine and Entourage and all these things, where it was like the people that masthead is talking about, all those people exist in real life. We know a bunch of cool conservative people who are into all this stuff. They're not like evil, bad racists, but they're into all those things that you said, but they just don't talk about it.
Don Jr. is out here. Don Jr. is out here doing the good work. They have 101,000 followers on Instagram. I imagine those are, bought. Some are bought.
Good.
I mean, I'm guessing. I don't like to speculate, but this is something great that I discovered today, and I'm glad that we were able to share it.
A lot of protein there on that elk.
I just think that the editor-in-chief says, I'm damn happy to be part of Field Ethos team because Black Rifle Coffee wouldn't hire me. There we go, baby. Oh, that's good stuff.
Did it really say that?
Yeah, that's his quote. That's the quote of the editor-in-chief on the about page.
This is kind of like parallel universe world versions of us in so many ways. I mean, we're media types, right? We love print.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I feel like these are people that I would encounter somewhere, but then I think that when you hunt this much, you don't hang out with people that don't hunt.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. If you're not in the community,
if you're not part of the community, that's the binding agent of these friendships. I want to ask you did you receive your new little purchase?
Oh yeah, my watch. Yeah, I got it on right now. My perpetual rollie.
All right, so
I need to juice up some perpetuality.
Bust Down Jason purchased a watch. Even though I hate watches and think they're a waste of money, I'm really proud of you. And
me too, for the record, but I may have been pressured.
You bought it from our friend Dizza, who has a new company with some other friends called Very Special.
Yeah, Very Special on Instagram.
I'm sure it was an amazing, seamless experience for you as a first-time purchaser.
Yeah, it was actually very good. When you order something from them, they go and they get it all professionally cleaned and serviced and ready to go. They set the date and time and the calendar for what
nice.
for what and in my time zone too. Like going the little extra mile.
That's the special touch. That's the DZA difference. So
special touch.
So I want to ask.
Next day they do next day air shows up. Boom.
Well, if they were really about their money, DZA would have flown it there himself, Delta One, to protect it. But that's just whatever. Everybody cheaps out somewhere. So
handcuff on the briefcase.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that Jason's not doing that well. How does it feel now as your first day out the feds as a watch guy? Because this is new territory for you.
People look at you differently. I've noticed. This is very akin to when I finally started wearing a helmet when I rode my bicycle, and then women would look at me as if like, oh, he cares about living, huh?
Oh, okay. They wouldn't look at you like, look at this dork. They would be like, it's smart that he finally did this.
Yeah, like it's like I'm horny for the fact that he doesn't want to die.
Okay,
and he's signaling that.
So have you worn it out in public yet, or is it been around the house kind of vibes?
Yeah, I wore it to dinner, and I wore it on my dog walk today. Flash it around here and there. But it's low key though. It's not like some crazy thing. But it's like a 1970. Date just, and it's a tropical dial. The original dial was matte black, and then it's kind of been browned in the sun for the last few decades or so, and it's good. It's not too big, not too small. Me lucky for watch number one. I can't wait to add it to the collection.
Yeah, okay. If you start traveling mayor style,
do you want to check out my watches? They're a little different.
Your watch roll. Don't start. I can't wait. You're gonna get so many messages from fucking watch guys now, and that's kind of why I was doing this, to prank you. But I'm happy that you did.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, hopefully now Bezel, if you're listening, we can renegotiate my store credit up to a number that's more into my zone, and then I'm willing to dance.
Yeah, I think this is a new era for TJ. It starts with the Benz, it moves into the Rolly, and I honestly, I'm getting choked up because I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
I mean, it's all thanks to Carolyn, 1000%.
Yeah, and me, but
and
yeah,
you,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you as
sure,
well.
we can split the credit. This is. Don't worry, I'm working that into my wedding speech.
You guys are both the angels in my devilish ear.
No, but I think that
I'm the devil, and then I have two angels on the shoulders. Wow,
it's a whole.
This thing writes itself.
It's a whole different setup. But yeah, I think this is good for you, and I think that one of us needs to wear a watch. I think it's cool, and it's not going to be me. So I'm glad that you've kind of taken the lead on this.
It's about time I signaled wealth for the two of us for once, right?
Exactly. I'm kind of tired of having to be the one that could get robbed just by walking outside. Mm-hmm. So now, hopefully, you're the guy they're going to stick up.
And I'm tired of being the one where people look at me and say, "Will he rob me?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You look like a stone cold killer. And I'm glad that you've kind of softened your look with this Rolex.
No, not a stone cold. I'm a stone cold shoplifter, more so.
We know that, but I think that the watch will look great at Horses tonight.
Yeah, I was able to secure a 515.
Actually, let's do a live resi check right now at Horses. Let's do a live resi check before we log off. Right now. Let's do it because
I'm starting to wonder what those sweetbreads were made out of now. Resi Horses.
Let's see.
Reserve I bet it's table.
Booming. I bet it's booming.
Today there are no tables available today from 4:30 to 8:30. Let me see here.
Okay.
I've got a 10 p.m. tonight. It's the last one.
10 p.m. tonight.
10
p.m. tonight. This plays into our theory that we discussed earlier that this won't affect the bottom line. And maybe these are, who knows? I mean, these could be European tourists who've had these reservations for 6 months.
More to your point that you're saying right now, the next available date that a reservation is next Friday, the 26th.
Either they're closed, which I don't think they are, or they're booked up. And I think maybe this has gotten people. This has been a whole new layer of press.
Yeah, I mean
that they weren't expecting.
People want a rubberneck. And be in just be in a small room where the energy feels insane. It's just like driving by a fucking helicopter accident or a plane crash. You're like, this is fucking crazy.
No, you're right. Yeah,
and it must be crazy to sit inside of Horses right now. Just the energy in the room must be thick.
I mean, yeah. The energy is thick.
I mean, that room must be purring. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love when the engine starts purring at Horses. All right, how long gone? My God. Thank you guys for listening. And if you're, we tried to cover. I've never
the roller coaster.
I've never gotten a request for more discussion than about horses. I really haven't in the history of this podcast. I've never. So I hope we delivered on the promise. And I'll be eating there as soon as I get back to LA to check the scene. Jason, hopefully, you can get on the ground floor. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week with more guests.
Hope everyone has a happy Catterday, and we will see you guys on Monday.
Not Catterday.